Namaste, this is Santa Auntie. Today we are going to talk about reflexive pronouns and reflexive adjectives in Hindi. Before we start, I want to make a note that Hindi and English grammar differ from each other. My job is to teach Hindi grammar via English grammar. So sometimes I use terms like reflexive adjective that seem weird in English because that's not really a thing. But I'm going to ask you to just go with it. Because if you watch this whole video, it'll all come together and make sense to you. Let's look at reflexive pronouns first. And first, let's understand what the word reflexive even means. It has two meanings. First, it means a word that refers back to the subject. Now that means a word that refers back to the subject of the sentence. And remember, the subject of a sentence is the person or thing that the sentence is about. I'll say that again. The subject of a sentence is the person or thing that the sentence is about. So again, here we are defining what reflexive means. It has two meanings. The first meaning is that it refers back to the subject of the sentence. The second meaning is that the subject and object are the same person or thing. So here's an example. She is going to India with her mom. What's the subject? She. What's the object? India. What's the reflexive pronoun? Her. Do you see how her refers back to she? And her and she are the same person? So that's what makes it reflexive. The her and she are the same person. So this sentence in Hindi would be, वो अपनी माँ के साथ इंडिया जा रही है. Again, वो अपनी माँ के साथ इंडिया जा रही है. Let's do another one. I am going to my house. What's the subject? I. What's the object? My house, or rather house. What's the reflexive pronoun? My. Do you see how my refers back to I, and my and I are the same person? So the sentence would be, मैं अपना घर जा रही हूँ. If a woman was saying it, if a man was saying it, मैं अपना घर जा रहा हूँ. So again, reflexive has two meanings. A word that refers back to the subject, the person or thing that the sentence is about, and the subject and object of the verb are the same person or thing. So now we understand what reflexive means. So let's quickly review what a pronoun is. A pronoun is a word that replaces a noun to avoid repetition, make a sentence more interesting, and make a sentence clearer. That's what a pronoun is. And these are pronouns in English. And let me further define that these are subject pronouns in English. And you are very familiar with these subject pronouns. And these are the subject pronouns in Hindi. मैं, आप, वो, हम, and वो. You are also familiar with these. Now, let's put the words reflexive and pronoun together to understand what a reflexive pronoun is. It's a pronoun that refers back to the subject of a sentence where the subject and object are the same person or entity. A pronoun that refers back to the subject of a sentence where the subject and object are the same person or entity. So these are reflexive pronouns in English. All of the selves, myself, yourself, himself, herself, ourselves, and themselves. These are reflexive pronouns in English. Here's an example of one. I am going by myself. What's the subject? I. What's the reflexive pronoun? Myself. Do you see how myself and I are the same person? So this sentence in Hindi would be, मैं अपने आप जा रही हूँ. If a female was saying it, if a male said it, मैं अपने आप जा रहा हूँ. Here's another one. She is making pizza by herself. The subject is she. The reflexive pronoun is herself. Do you see how herself reflects back to she and that they're both the same person? So this sentence in Hindi would be, वो अपने आप pizza बना रही है. If a female was saying it, if a male said it, it would be, वो अपने आप pizza बना रहा है. And before I show you the reflexive pronouns in Hindi, let's say thank you to the Hindi fairies because, of course, there isn't just one way to say these reflexive pronouns. There are a few different ways to say them. Here are the reflexive pronouns in Hindi. They're the same for all of the selves. Apne aap, khud, and swam. But those three words are all interchangeable. There are three ways to say all of the selves words. Apne aap, khud, and swam. These three words are all interchangeable. But there are some subtle differences amongst them. So what are they? So first of all, why is this even a thing? Why are there three ways to say the same exact thing? Because, remember, Hindi is a precise and poetic language, and words evoke emotion. So let's understand with an example. Let's do the example, I can go by myself. In Hindi, it's मैं अपने आप जा सकता or जा सकती हूँ. Now in this one, Apne Aap has an emphasis on self-reliance. It answers how you went by yourself more than who or by whom. By doing it independently, by one's own effort. So when we use the word Apne Aap, we're emphasizing my independence and my self-reliance. So that's the emotion evoked by Apne Aap. Now let's look at khud. Khud is more like, I can go myself. I can go myself. मैं खुद जा सकता or मैं खुद जा सकती हूँ. This one is more like, no worries, I can go myself. This does not have an emphasis on self-reliance or independence. Rather, it's more just about how someone did it, the action. They did it himself or herself. So this is conversational Hindi, and though it is used in everyday conversational Hindi, it is an Urdu word. But we use the words khud and apne aap all the time in conversational Hindi. As we know, there are a lot of Urdu words in Hindi. Now let's look at swam. Swam is also more like I can go myself, but with an emphasis on the effort that this person made. The sentence would be, मैं स्वयं जा सकता or मैं स्वयं जा सकती हूँ. So just take a moment and look at the three sentences. They are identical except for apne aap, khud, and swam. So that's what makes these three words interchangeable. But what makes swam unique? What's the emotion evoked there? This one emphasizes that someone made the effort himself or herself, okay? And it's used more in elevated Hindi. It's not used in everyday conversation. It's more poetic or literary Hindi. You wouldn't necessarily use this word in everyday Hindi, and if you did, like if someone like me used it, people would be like, oh, okay, her Hindi's good, or like they would be impressed because it's not a common thing to say in conversational Hindi. It's more like, again, if you're writing lyrics to a song or writing a poem or engaged in a more formal conversation, or it's something that you would see used if you were watching Mahabharata or Ramayana. That's the word swam would definitely be used in things like that. Okay? So again, swam emphasizes that someone made an effort themselves. So that's the difference between apne aap, khud, and swam. Each one of them evokes a different emotion. But again, it's perfectly acceptable to use them interchangeably. And if I had to show the differences amongst these three via pictures, this is the way I would do it. The one in Apne Aap is a little girl feeling like she's so amazing because she was able to go to the market all by herself. You go, girl. Khud is kind of like this woman that's kind of engaged in a mundane task. She was able to go by herself, so she did. She went to the market like we all do on a weekly basis to get her groceries. And swam, this lady is smiling because she made all this effort to go to the market to pick out all the best ingredients for the amazing dinner that she's going to make tonight. So wo swam gayi. She went herself and made all this effort to buy all the best stuff to make an amazing meal for dinner tonight. So that's the difference amongst these three. So let's do an example. I am making a cake myself. Remember, Apne Aap has an emphasis on independence and on whom is doing the activity. Khud emphasizes more how it's done rather than whom. It's done on your own, herself, myself. And swam is more poetic and formal and maybe even represents a little reverence towards somebody. So let's look at the first one. And just to drive the point home, I changed the sentence a little bit from I am making a cake myself to I am making a cake by myself. That emphasizes that the child is excited to be making it all by himself. And the way we'd say this in Hindi is मैं अपने आप केक बना रहा हूँ. मैं अपने आप केक बना रहा हूँ. Now let's look at khud. And again, to show emphasis on how it's being done rather than by whom, I changed it to I am making the cake on my own. And maybe what happened is that this guy's homie backed out last minute. His homie was supposed to come over and help him make the cake, but backed out last minute, so now he's got to do it on his own. Okay? And the way we say this in Hindi is मैं खुद केक बना रहा हूँ. मैं खुद केक बना रहा हूँ. And lastly, let's look at swam. This one again is more formal and used in formal writing and poems, but it can also be used to show emphasis, for example, on who made the cake or who did the action. Maybe it's someone unexpected or someone special. So the sentence would be, I am making the cake myself. And maybe in this case, it's a famous chef making the cake himself, a pastry chef that's making the cake himself. So everyone at the restaurant tonight is lucky because they are going to eat a cake directly made by Swam, by him, himself. And the way to say this in Hindi is, मैं स्वयं केक बना रहा हूँ. Okay? So again, each one of these can be used interchangeably. It's totally correct, but there are subtle differences in the emotion and the message that they evoke. All right? So these are the three ways to say the reflexive pronouns in Hindi, apne aap, khud, and swam. So now let's change the sentence from I am making a cake to you are making. You are making a cake by yourself. So this one would be आप अपने आप केक बना रहे हैं. So I wanted to show you the first example. I gave you the answers without giving you a chance to do them, but now I'm going to pause and I want you to tell me what the answer is going to be. We're going to do for you sentences, and we're going to do अपने आप, खुद, and swam. So you have to do you sentences for all three, and then we'll move on to the next set of examples. So you are making a cake by yourself. आप अपने आप केक बना रहे हैं. You are making a cake yourself. So let's do khud for this one. How would we say that? आप खुद केक बना रहे हैं. Okay, so a couple of things I want to point out that I didn't point out in the last example are that the verb to make is banana. This is a present continuous sentence. So we're using our conjugations raha, rahi, and rahe. And we use rahe because this is an aap sentence. Aap bana rahe hain. Okay, so now let's do, you are making a cake yourself, and this is the big deal. This is the chef that's a big deal. So we're going to use swam here. So what would the sentence be? Aap swam cake bana rahe hain. आप स्वयं केक बना रहे हैं. All right, so we did you sentences. Now let's do he. He is making a cake by himself. So again, we're going to be using apne aap. So how would we say this sentence in Hindi? वो अपने आप केक बना रहा है. वो अपने आप केक बना रहा है. Again, the verb is to make banana. It's present continuous tense. And for he sentences, the conjugation is raha. वो बना रहा है. And it's a himself, so वो अपने आप केक बना रहा है. Now let's do with खुद. वो खुद केक बना रहा है. वो खुद केक बना रहा है. And now let's do Mr. Big Deal, swam. How would we say this in Hindi? वो स्वयं केक बना रहा है. Very good. Now let's do she. She is making a cake by herself. How would you say this in Hindi? वो अपने आप केक बना रही है. She is making a cake herself. वो खुद केक बना रही है. She is making a cake herself, and she's kind of a big deal. वो स्वयं केक बना रही है. Excellent. Keep going. We are making a cake by ourselves. हम अपने आप केक बना रहे हैं. We are making a cake ourselves. हम खुद केक बना रहे हैं. All right, and we are making a cake ourselves, and they are kind of like a big deal. So how would they say it? हम स्वयं केक बना रहे हैं. Now let's do they are making. They are making a cake by themselves. वो अपने आप केक बना रहे हैं. They are making a cake themselves. वो खुद केक बना रहे हैं. And they are making a cake themselves, and they're kind of a big deal. वो स्वयं केक बना रहे हैं. Excellent. So now that we understand what reflexive pronouns are, let's talk about reflexive adjectives in Hindi. Now again, I said this before, I'm going to point out again that there is a difference between English grammar and Hindi grammar. I am tasked with teaching you Hindi grammar via English grammar. So again, sometimes I use terms that aren't really a thing in English, but I use them to make it easier for you to understand the concepts. So an example of that are reflexive adjectives. It's not really a thing in English, but I'm using the terminology so you don't get confused between reflexive adjectives and reflexive pronouns. So again, just go with it. All right, let's talk about reflexive adjectives. But before we do that, let's first remember what an adjective is. An adjective is a word that describes a noun. A word that describes a noun. A noun is a person, place, or thing. How do we describe people, places, and things? We use our five senses. We describe how things look, how things smell, how they sound, how they feel, and how they taste. Okay? So adjectives describe nouns. So what's a possessive adjective? A possessive adjective is a word that comes before a noun to indicate ownership or possession. A word that comes before a noun to indicate ownership or possession. Okay. These are possessive adjectives in English, and these are words you know well. My dog, your cat, his birthday cake, her house, our mom, their playlist. Okay? These words, my, your, his, her, its, our, their, these are words you know. These are the possessive adjectives in Hindi. Just like in English, they also come before a noun to indicate ownership or possession. And these are words I've taught you as well. You know how to use all of these also. Mera kutta, aapki billi, uska cake, hamara ghar, unki mummy. Okay? So these are possessive adjectives in Hindi. I'm laying the groundwork for here to make sure you understand all these terminologies and what these concepts are so that you understand what reflexive adjectives are, because we're not here to learn about possessive adjectives or adjectives in general. We are here to learn about reflexive adjectives. So what exactly is that? It's a word that comes before a noun to indicate ownership or possession. And the subject and object are the same person or thing. Okay, so it's a two-part definition. A word that comes before a noun to indicate ownership or possession, and the subject and object are the same person or thing. Here's an example. I am playing with my mom. What's the subject? I. The object? Mom. What's the reflexive adjective? My. Do you see how the reflexive adjective and the subject are the same person? My and I are the same person? That's what reflexive means. And the reflexive adjective is my. Why is it an adjective? Because my modifies mom. My what? My mom. My is an adjective, a reflexive adjective that modifies mom. Okay? And the way to say this in Hindi is मैं अपनी माँ के साथ खेल रही हूँ. The verb to play is खेलना. This is present continuous. A little girl is saying this, so it's रही. मैं अपनी माँ के साथ खेल रही हूँ. And it's अपनी because ma is a striling or a girl bucket noun. Okay? मैं अपनी माँ के साथ खेल रही हूँ. So these are the three reflexive adjectives in Hindi. Apna, apni, and apne. We use these based on the noun, not based on the speaker. Okay? Use these based on the noun, not based on the speaker. Here's how to use each one of these. Use apna for singular full nouns. Use apni for singular and plural stri nouns. Use apne for plural full nouns. Okay? That's how you use them. Let's talk about it again. Apna is for singular full, also known as boy bucket nouns. Apni is for singular and plural stri, also known as girl bucket nouns. And apne is for plural bull, also known as boy bucket nouns. Okay? So let's do an example. He is holding his ice cream. Ice cream is just ice cream in Hindi, and it's a stri noun or a girl bucket noun. So would it be apna, apni, or apne? Apni, because ice cream is a girl bucket noun. His modifies ice cream. Ice cream is a girl bucket noun. So we say apni. They are writing their story. Story in Hindi is kahani. The word there is modifying the noun story. Story is kahani and it's a striling, a girl bucket noun. So would it be apna, apni, or apne? Apni. We are going to our store. Store in Hindi is dukan, and it's a girl bucket noun. It's a striling. Our modifies the noun store, which again is a striling, a girl bucket noun. So would it be apna, apni, or apne? Apni. She is at her school. School is just school in Hindi, and it's a boy bucket noun, a pulling. And her modifies the noun school. So would it be apna, apni, or apne? Apna, because school is a singular boy bucket noun or a singular bull noun. They are looking at their pictures. Picture in Hindi is tasveer, and it's a girl bucket noun, a striling. But here we're not doing picture, singular, we're doing pictures, plural. Tasveerein. Okay? So does that make a difference? Would it be apna, apni, or apne? It would be apni. But wait a second. You might think, but wait a second, Auntie, you've told me that for plural we use apne. Nah, babu. What I taught you is that we use apne for plural bull nouns. We use apni for all stri nouns, for all girl bucket nouns, regardless of whether they are a singular or plural. It doesn't matter if it's singular or plural, we always use apni for stri nouns. But apna is for singular bull nouns. Apne is for plural bull nouns. Okay? He is washing his clothes. Okay, cloth in Hindi is kapda. But this is not cloth, it's clothes. So the noun needs to be made into plural, which is kapde. It's still a pulling, a boy bucket noun. So would it be apna, apni, or apne? Apne. Apne kapde. So now that we know how to use reflexive adjectives, let's use them in sentences. I am making my cake. I am making my cake. So how would we say this in Hindi? I, we know, is main. Okay. We know our verb is banana. We know this is present continuous. We know that a guy is saying this from the picture. So we know that we have to have main bana raha hu. We know that much. So it's the stuff in the middle that we need to figure out. My cake. Do we use apna, apni, or apne? Cake is a singular bull noun. So main apna cake bana raha hu. Main apna cake bana raha hu. Okay, because again, cake is a singular bull noun. I am going to my home. Okay, so home, you should know in Hindi, is ghar. The verb to go is jana. This is a present continuous sentence. And a girl is saying it because we know that based on the picture. So we know we're going to have main ja rahi hu. We know that much. We're going to have that in the sentence. Main ja rahi hu. So we have to figure this stuff out in the middle, my home. So the question is home a bull or a stri noun? Is it boy bucket or girl bucket? I'm not going to tell you. Let's see what the answer is. I want you to figure out, say your answer out loud, and then I'll show you. मैं अपना घर जा रही हूँ. Apna, because ghar is a singular bull noun. Okay, I am going to the park with my mom. Okay, and again, we're using the verb jana. So put this one together. I am going to the park with my mom, and the speaker of the sentence is a little girl based on the picture. So the sentence would be, मैं अपनी माँ के साथ पार्क जा रही हूँ. मैं अपनी माँ के साथ पार्क जा रही हूँ. And it's apni because ma is a striling, a girl bucket noun. Okay, we are eating our fruit. We are eating our fruit. Fruit is phal. Is it boy bucket or girl bucket? It's boy bucket. It's a bull noun. So how would we say this sentence in Hindi? हम अपने फल खा रहे हैं. Why is it apne? Because fruit is plural. We are eating our fruit. So fruit is plural. So हम अपने फल खा रहे हैं. All right. He will choose his shoes himself. Now this one is interesting because we're using reflexive pronouns and reflexive adjectives in here. Okay? The verb to choose is chuna. Okay? Actually, let me pronounce it differently. Chuna is to touch. Chunna is to choose. There's a slight variation in the pronunciation. So how would we say he will choose his shoes himself? वो अपने जूते खुद चुनेगा. वो अपने जूते खुद चुनेगा. Now, you could have also replaced खुद with अपने आप or स्वयं. वो अपने जूते खुद चुनेगा could become वो अपने जूते अपने आप चुनेगा, or वो अपने जूते स्वयं चुनेगा. You could replace खुद with अपने आप or स्वयं. But I like the word खुद here because we already have the word अपने, so it gets confusing if you have two. वो अपने जूते अपने आप चुनेगा. Totally makes sense. Lots of people would say it. Everyone would understand what you're saying. But for some reason, it just sounds better to my ears. वो अपने जूते खुद चुनेगा. वो अपने जूते स्वयं चुनेगा. That would be more elevated Hindi. Okay. And shoes in Hindi are jute, and they are a pulling, a boy bucket noun. He drinks from his bottle. Okay? Bottle is bottle, and it's a striling, a female noun. So how would we say he drinks from his bottle? वो अपनी बोतल से पीता है. वो अपनी बोतल से पीता है. Pina is the verb to drink. We're talking about a little boy based on the picture, so that's why, and this is present tense, so that's why the verb became pita, from pina to pita. And apni, because bottle is a striling, a female noun. वो अपनी बोतल से पीता है. Okay, now let's do he drinks his milk all by himself. So how would we say this? वो अपना दूध अपने आप पीता है. वो अपना दूध अपने आप पीता है. Now again, we could also replace अपने आप with खुद or स्वयं. वो अपना दूध खुद पीता है. वो अपना दूध स्वयं पीता है. But because it's a little baby, somehow to me, वो अपना दूध अपने आप पीता है sounds really cute. Also, because remember, अपने आप emphasizes that he's doing it independently, which is a big deal for a baby to be able to do. So that's why apne aap is just more appropriate in this use case, because we're emphasizing that he can do it all by himself. वो अपने आप दूध पीता है. All right. So to recap, here's the difference between reflexive adjectives and reflexive pronouns. Reflexive adjectives describe one's own. Reflexive pronouns are done by oneself or for oneself. Okay? For example, I am going to my house versus I am eating by myself. Reflexive adjectives show the possessor and the subject are the same. Reflexive pronouns show the action is done without help of others. The subject is performing the action on itself or by itself. And the way to say I'm going to my house in Hindi is मैं अपना घर जा रहा हूँ for a male. A female would say मैं अपना घर जा रही हूँ. Now let's do I am eating by myself. मैं अपने आप खा रहा हूँ. Or you could also say मैं खुद खा रहा हूँ or मैं स्वयं खा रहा हूँ. And if a female was going to say the sentence, you just change the conjugation from raha to rahi. मैं अपने आप खा रही हूँ. मैं अपने आप, or excuse me, मैं खुद खा रही हूँ or मैं स्वयं खा रही हूँ. Okay? So again, अपने आप, swayam and khud are interchangeable, but don't forget about the individual emotions that each of them evoke. All right, so we use these for all of these meanings, for my own, your own, his own, her own, our own, and their own. What I mean by that is apna, apni, apne apply to each of these. Where in English, obviously, they differ for my, your, his, her, our, and their. In Hindi, we have three, apna, apni, apne. And we use all three words, and it doesn't depend on the speaker. It depends on what is being talked about. Let's do another example. I am cleaning my room. मैं अपना कमरा साफ कर रहा हूँ. Okay, kamra is room and it's a singular full noun. Saaf karna is a compound verb. So we have the word saaf and the verb karna. We chopped off the na and we put raha hu because it's a present continuous sentence being said by a boy. मैं अपना कमरा साफ कर रहा हूँ. Now he is cleaning his room. How would we say this? वो अपना कमरा साफ कर रहा है. वो अपना कमरा साफ कर रहा है. She is cleaning her room. वो अपना कमरा साफ कर रही है. So notice, apna kamra didn't change from he to she. It stays apna kamra because again, apna modifies kamra. Kamra is a singular full noun. So we say apna. What we did change to reflect that this sentence is being about a girl is change the conjugation of the verb from raha to rahi. So, wo apna kamra saaf kar rahi hai. If it was he is cleaning his room, wo apna kamra saaf kar raha hai. So, the verb changes based on the person the sentence is about. Everything else in Hindi, all other grammar in Hindi revolves around the noun that's being talked about in the sentence. Okay, we are cleaning our room. हम अपने कमरा साफ कर रहे हैं. And actually, this one is slightly incorrect. We wouldn't say apne kamra, we would say apna kamra. Hum apna kamra saaf kar rahe hain. Okay? So it wouldn't be apne, it would be apna. कमरा साफ कर रहे हैं. They are cleaning their room. वो अपना कमरा साफ कर रहे हैं. वो अपना कमरा साफ कर रहे हैं. All right. His Rakhi is green. I just put this in there as a break. Okay? This has nothing to do with anything we're doing. Let's just do this sentence in Hindi. How would we say his Rakhi is green? Rakhi is a striling noun. So how would we say this? Uski Rakhi hari hai. That's it. Uski Rakhi hari hai. Because Rakhi is a striling noun. So uska and uski are how we say his and hers in Hindi. We use uski because again Rakhi is a striling noun. And we inflected green, hara, to hari because again Rakhi is a striling noun. All right, let's get back to it. She is going to India with her mom. She's going to India with her mom. How would we say this in Hindi? वो अपनी माँ के साथ इंडिया जा रही है. वो अपनी माँ के साथ इंडिया जा रही है. Let's do this one. I will go with my brothers. मैं अपने भाइयों के साथ जाऊंगी. Because a female is saying the sentence. We're assuming that a female is saying the sentence. मैं अपने भाइयों के साथ जाऊंगी. Now, अपने, because भाई is one brother, भाइयों is brothers. It's plural pull. मैं अपने भाइयों के साथ जाऊंगी. All right. And if we were gonna change it from, or scramble the words from English into how they would translate it into Hindi, it would be I, my brothers, will go. Okay. So let's look at the difference now. You might be wondering, but Samtanta, you've taught me possessive pronouns before, like mera, aapka, hamara. So what's the difference? How are apna and like mera different? Okay. Well, apna is the subject plus the possessor are the same person. Where mera, they are not. The possessor is not the subject of the sentence. Okay, that's one key difference. I am with my big sister. I and my refer to the same person. Versus my big sister is in college. We just have my in this one, and we're talking about my what? My sister. Okay, so I and my are both in the sentence and refer to the same person. Whereas in the mera example, my big sister is in college, is just one person that we're talking about. Sister. Whose sister? My sister. So the way to say the first one in Hindi is मैं अपनी बड़ी बहन के साथ हूँ. I am with my big sister. मैं अपनी बड़ी बहन के साथ हूँ. My big sister is in college is मेरी बड़ी बहन कॉलेज में है. मेरी बड़ी बहन कॉलेज में है. All right, now let's look at one special case. If you wanted to say, I myself don't know, like if somebody said, how do you do XYZ? And you said, I don't know, or you wanted to emphasize, say, I myself don't know. So you would say, मुझे खुद नहीं पता, or मुझे स्वयं नहीं पता. In this one, it's a special case of non-interchangeability because you would not say, मैं अपने आप नहीं पता. That just sounds super weird. It's just not something that anybody would say. You would either say, मुझे खुद नहीं पता or मुझे स्वयं नहीं पता. You would not say, मुझे अपने आप नहीं पता. Because remember, again, apne aap has the connotation of independence or self-reliance. So that's where it's not interchangeable. And this is a special use case. All right? So, phew, that is our lesson on reflexive pronouns and reflexive adjectives. That was a lot of work. So thank you for sticking with me. Dhanyavad for joining me. I hope this has become really clear for you. Please keep practicing this, and I'll see you in class.